The following is rated high. Viewer discretion is advised.
Okay, let's start with a l'chaim.
L'chaim.
Because we'll cut out the actual time of day later, but we are drinking.
We are drinking.
In the morning.
Drinking in the morning is the best.
Mm-hmm.
Are we rolling?
Shalom Aleichem, there's an Chaim Yom Laser from the web series YidLife Priceless.
With Valentine's Day coming up, we thought we'd take a look at the Jewish view on romance and sex, or as we like to say, shidduchim and shtupping.
Yeah, the thing is, we don't know very much about either of those topics, but we know two people who do. Married couple, both Orthodox Jews, the Maharat, Rachel Feingold, and her husband, Rabbi Avi Feingold.
What is the Jewish view on courting and dating?
Judaism doesn't really have a lot to say about courting and dating. You know, there's a lot of stuff to say about marriage, there's a lot of stuff to say about sex.
There's a spectrum out there. Some people are shidduch dating, right? 2, 3, 4, 5 dates that were set up by a matchmaker, and then either he's the one, she's the one, or not. And other Jews, of course, will date for years before someone pops the question or convinces someone to pop the question.
What's love got to do with it?
What is love?
That's Tina Turner, I think, actually.
Also Jewish.
Tevye Turner.
Tevye Turner. Well, it's interesting because there's a cultural notion that love and sexuality tend to end after marriage begins.
Marriage is not a finish line. Love can grow after marriage. And in some Jewish communities, love begins after marriage. When the rabbinic texts, the ancient Jewish texts are talking about sexuality, they're assuming that the sex is within a marriage context. Of course, that's no longer true for many Jews in the world, but there's still, we believe, a lot to learn from the Jewish sex ethic.
Essentially what we're saying is, while the rabbis historically condone having sex within the context of a marriage, that doesn't mean that if you're having sex outside of the marriage, you shouldn't take that ethic and apply to the relationship that you are in at the moment that you are doing it.
It's not a universal approach that will work for everyone at all times, but there's wisdom there.
Even for non-Jews.
Well, absolutely.
Many people probably assume religion being sort of patriarchal, and you know, there's these ideas of misogyny in religion. I'm not saying that I don't think that. I'm not saying I do think that. But
there are a lot of misconceptions out there. If you look at the Jewish marriage contract, it's called the ketubah. Mm-hmm. It stipulates all the obligations of a Jewish husband to his wife. So the woman is the one with the conjugal rights in the marriage.
So is there like a shtup frequency in the ketubah?
That's a great question.
No, but the Talmud does have a shtup frequency. If somebody chooses to have a vow that says, I will refrain from touching my wife for a certain amount of time, the rabbis go and say, what is the maximum amount of time for that vow to actually be valid? If you are a merchant at sea, you're only required to provide your wife with sexual satisfaction twice a year, because the assumption is you're away, all the time. If you're a camel driver, once a month. If you're unemployed...
every day.
Yes.
Wow.
Offer.
If she wants it.
It all depends on her desire, her interest, her pleasure.
There's no obligation in Judaism for women to satisfy men.
I think the rabbis understood that the men are going to be satisfied much easier than the women are.
One way or the other.
Women are a little more complex. It is not connected only to procreation. If the wife is infertile or postmenopausal, or the couple already has 10 kids, the husband is still obligated, has a mitzvah, to provide sexual pleasure to his wife.
On that note, you get 10 seconds each to say one final thing to our YidLife audience around the world as we celebrate St. Valentine's Day. Any last-minute words of advice for them?
I will say Valentine's Day is not a Jewish holiday, but love is a Jewish concept. And any way that someone could find a deeper generosity and a deeper love for their partner is very Jewish.
I would say that if you're watching this, you clearly know that Valentine's Day is about buying your chocolate on February 15th.
14th?
15th. Come on,
it's much cheaper.
Perhaps we can segue into the topic of masturbation on this front.